A bill in the Nebraska legislature could change the future of school lunches.
Just one testified in opposition to the bill. Our Marla Lundak reports LB 99 would ensure public students would eat meals at school for free.
Across the state of Nebraska, thousands of low-income students qualify for free or reduced-priced lunches.
When a child is hungry, it hinders their ability to focus and learn in the classroom.
Nebraska State Senator Michaela Cavanaugh, who represents West Central Omaha, wants to take it a step further.
LB 99 would ensure that every public school student in Nebraska has a meal during the school day free of charge.
If the bill becomes law, every student, no matter their family's income, will receive free breakfast and lunches. During the pandemic, when lunches were free for everyone, students like Jennifer Solano say it was a relief.
During the 2021-2022 school year, when my father was the only one working, barely making any income, and not getting any clients, my family knew that they wouldn't have to worry about us eating at least one meal because we got a free lunch at school.
Numbers of students who qualify for free or reduced meals at Omaha Metro school districts vary. The highest sits at 52% in Ralston, followed by Westside and Bellevue schools at 38 and 35%. The lowest numbers are found in Elkhorn, Gretna, and Bennington, all under 10%.
Not on that list is Omaha Public Schools. The district already offers free lunches to all students thanks to a federal program that other local districts don't qualify for. Local educators say it makes a huge difference.
When the community eligibility provision went into effect where I was working, you could feel the shift in school cafeteria culture. No one was worried about when they were going through the lunch line. Kids were able to be kids, excited about the strawberry milk that was in stock. They grabbed their trays and sat down to eat a meal with their peers. I never had to hand out another slip of paper to a student or family that told them they owed money.
Senator Cavanaugh says this is a step Nebraska needs to take.
I want to destigmatize the lunchroom for students who get bullied because they have to take the free meal that identifies their family as low income. Nebraska is a breadbasket of America, and yet Feeding America estimates 1 in 6 children in Nebraska are food insecure.
In Omaha, Marla Lundak, 6 News.